So recently, another Porsche Instagram guy by the name of Harry that runs 957 Adventure did a video about his car and his problems. And you know, he may have more capability and go off-road a little more than I do, but buddy, I got more problems. So welcome to episode 1 of 99 Problems, and this thing's all of them. First things first, the paint. No, it's not great, and it looks like shit, but it does the job, and I thrashed it anyway, so screw it. As cool as these lights are, the placement is not the greatest, and I did not think about this beforehand, but these lights shine all across the window, all across the hood, so at night it just lights it all up, and you got this big light in your face. So this is actually not just for style, but for purpose of blocking these lights out from my face. I've only got one working door. This one has an door handle, and whoever had this car before put the Porsche handles backwards so the logos are upside down. The rear hatch does not latch. It flies open constantly, so I have to zip tie it closed, otherwise it flies open on the freeway. And there are photos of it while I'm sliding, it just bursts open. The seats are not a 944 seat, these are 996 seats, so I had to modify them, which means when I'm sit properly, my head touches the ceiling, so I don't fit the car necessarily. The Momo steering wheel, as much as I love it, does put me really uncomfortably far away from this thing. And this also, when you click it down, it stays. So you're like an old grandpa driving down the road if you forget, and the steering wheel blocks my view of the blinker. So I can never tell if my blinker is still on. On to the source of the motherload of all my problems. First being the radiator. This radiator is an aftermarket radiator, so it doesn't necessarily fit right out of the box. So I had to hammer the crap out of this, which means these bolts don't stay and this radiator moves around. Hence, these zip ties. Hence, why the radiator sits crooked. Hence, why it is exposed. Hence, most of my issues with cooling hoses getting burst. The next bit, it has a small oil leak. There's a little bit of oil going along up here, which is a fairly new thing, so that concerns me, but there is a small oil leak that drips down on the headers. Not terribly concerned, it doesn't lose a lot, but this is interesting. I don't know if that's fuel yet, and I haven't seen any fuel leaks quite yet. But last time there was a fuel leak, it was just an O-ring, but it just seemed to be coming out of there, so we'll find out if it catches on fire. The MAF does not sit steady. That's the sacrifice, and luckily, it sits on top of that and just gives the alternator a nice little paint job. Also, the alternator fan tends to want to kill this hose, and now wants to kill this hose. That's a little bit concerning, but it hasn't gone through. It's a little thin, but I'll get to that. And generally speaking, the power steering pump and rack needs to be worked on as well. It kind of groans. It doesn't like turning very much right now. You have to force it. The jack, it looks cool, but it's annoying as shit because this little rattle is obnoxious and it is constant when you're driving. Put this bolt in here to kind of eliminate some of the rattle to get rid of that noise too, which is the gas tank cap wobbles. The hole in there is stripped, so I can't get a screw in there and it won't stay. So it is what it is for now. And the last problem I'll bring up today is the wheels. So the problem is that they get chipped because I thrash so hard and the wheels can't keep up with my drift game. So they're just constantly getting beat up and looking like a battle scar, but I don't know if I'll end up just painting them because it's cheaper and faster, or if I'll just repowder coat them. I think it's kind of a battle scar of honor, honestly. But there's no good way to sit on this thing to look cool, you know? The lights are always up in your junk or whatever, but thanks for tuning in to part 1 of 99 Problems, and this thing's all of them.